The Upper West Ghana Revenue Authority Sector Commander of the Customs, Excise and Preventive Service Division has warned that it will arrest all vehicles imported into the country without going through the necessary documentation processes to pay the needed taxes involved. Harry Ayenemi Atambungore says some vehicles imported into the country under the guise of the temporal vehicle importation, a policy that has been abused over the years by the importers, would be properly looked at. He also says these vehicles end up being sold into the market without paying the necessary duties on imports. Mr. Ayenemi made the statement at a sensitization workshop organized in WA by the GRA Division of the Customs, Excise and Preventive Service. Rafik Salam reports from WA.
The Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has introduced the ECOWAS Common External Tariffs to harmonize tariffs among ECOWAS member countries. In view of this, the GRA organized a forum to educate revenue officers, international traders, and consumers about new development in the harmonized system. Upper West GRA Sector Commander of Customs, Excise and Preventive Service, Harry Ayenemi Atampugubiri, explained that the harmonized system is also a tool for increasing revenue mobilization.
Now, with a uniform rate, there is no motivation for anybody to prefer one country to the other. It's the same rate. All items, the same rates are applicable. An importer might misapply the correct HS code, and you being a well-trained officer or conversant with it, that means that the importer is not compliant. But with the HS code, if you are a well-versed officer, you get to know that the correct rate is applied. It increases our revenue.
Mr. Atampugubiri warned of higher fines and penalties if vehicle buyers fail to pay duties on vehicles that they purchase.
Occasionally, we do snap checks on those vehicles, on all vehicles, whether they are registered or not. If you are caught, the penalty is higher. If you are caught, that means you are attempting to evade. You will be penalized. So I advise that people who are buying vehicles from outside, especially neighboring countries, should do the checks with the nearest customs office. We have a way of checking whether duties have been paid or not by checking the chassis number. We have a code. When we key in, it will give you the full details. This vehicle passed through here. They pay duty on it.
Principal Revenue Officer of Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Atema, Kenneth Bai, noted that a number of changes have arisen due to the amendment of the 2012 version of the harmonized system.
Certain items fall out of trade, or the volumes are not as much in international trade, and for that reason, they have to be removed, or new ones added to the list. So that is another reason why, the amendments have to be made. The text have to be clarified for people to understand exactly how to use the ECOWAS Common External Tariff. Yes. Very soon, the Common External Tariff will be put into use. After all the sensitization has been done, customs or government, and for that matter, customs, will roll it into action. And then we need to know what is involved in it, the changes that have come up, so that when we go back to our offices, we can use it properly.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam. Wow.
The pro-New Patriotic Party vigilante group Invincible Forces has been accused of assaulting two journalists from TV3 and Ghana Web, respectively. The two journalists had gone to the headquarters of the NPP to report on a protest by some constituency executives from the Elembele constituency of the Western region over what they say were attempts by regional and national chairmen to disenfranchise them. A Ghana Web journalist, Jonah Elodie, who witnessed the attack on his camera technician, spoke with JoyNews.
We were at an assignment when I heard about what was going on at the NPP head office. And so my cameraman and I rushed to the scene to see what was going on. And then just before we got there, realized that there was some form of commotion, and you could hear the noise from afar. So we quickly set up inside the taxi, the car we were moving in, so that as soon as we get down, we'll start shooting what was going on. So we got down, and then my cameraman began to shoot, and then getting closer to the place. Then some 3 guys just approached him, and then before he realized, one guy had just hit him in the face, and then, you know, he fell down. They took the camera from him, and they were requesting to take my phones away because they suspected that I have probably taken some pictures or videos with my phone. Then they picked up my cameraman and requested, in fact, they insisted we deleted every visual on the camera. One was even suggesting that they hit it on the ground because they were struggling to even operate the camera that we were using.
One of the aggrieved protesters who spoke to JoyNews vowed to resist all attempts by the regional and national chairman to disenfranchise them.
Books have been sent to the constituency, to be sent to the polling stations for us to populate the register. The constituency chairman has kept these books under his armpit and has printed out some A4 sheets and sent some guys out there to go and pick names and bring to him to populate at his whims and caprices who he wishes to be in the book. Wow. That is exactly what it is. If not, why are you keeping the book with you? And I've sent people with the A4 sheet outside. What is the A4 for? Based on what instructions? You don't determine who comes in. Each of us shared his little blood in ensuring the victory.
They've also vowed to, quote, teach the national chairman Freddie Blay a bitter lesson, unquote, at the upcoming internal elections.
And the opposition NDC is warning party members who intend to contest for various positions to be mindful of their actions or risk being sanctioned. The party says it is aware of acts by some members which aim to create an equal playing field for sitting members of parliament. The NDC, since its defeat in the 2016 polls, has been engaged in reorganization efforts that have seen a post-election review committee make recommendations to the national executive of the party. And so General Secretary Johnson Esiedun Ketia told the news conference on Thursday that members needed to be mindful of their conduct lest they jeopardize the party's reorganization efforts.
We have every reason to be very confident that next year, 2018, they will raise the image of the party even higher to galvanize the party towards a massive victory in 2020. The party is aware that even as they spend time undertaking these onerous and difficult assignments in parliaments, individuals within the constituencies have already taken advantage of their absence from the constituencies to undermine them with the hope of unseating them in 2020. I wish, on behalf of the party, to indicate that whilst we accept the right of every NDC member to aspire to any positions of the party, including that of Member of Parliament, we also believe that democracy can only be meaningful when the playing field is even and the rules of the game are transparent and applicable to all equally. It is on this note that we send a note of caution to all aspirants at all levels to refrain from any acts or conduct calculated to undermine our sitting members of parliament before the season for campaigning is formally open. Any evidence of breach of this directive may count in the evaluation of the eligibility of candidates when nominations are eventually opened. Ladies and gentlemen, in the wake of the party's defeat at the 2016 polls, the leadership found it necessary to allow for ventilation of anger and frustration from the rank and file of the party as part of the healing process. This is known in psychology as catharsis. When you suffer some trauma, there must be opportunity for you to do some self-expression that will ease the pent-up feelings and then to heal your soul. We believe that 1 year is long enough for that exercise. Therefore, certain acts of indiscipline were deliberately ignored if they were not of such magnitude as to create major problems for us. We deliberately ignored many of those things. We wish to remind the party that as an indisciplined army cannot win any war, so it is that a political party aiming to recapture power must demonstrate discipline in order to position itself as a credible alternative government in waiting. Let us all, beginning from the new year, recommit ourselves to abide by the party's constitution, especially the provisions relating to conduct of party members and discipline.
And the party also announced its Congress to elect national executives taking place in September 2018.
We expect that the compiled details about the timelines about when the raw register will be ready and when it will be validated and all that will be sent to the constituencies. But the deadline for a completed register is 28th of February 2018. So we want to appeal through you to our members throughout the country to take this opportunity to register. We do not want to accept a situation where everybody will be waiting till the final day and they will be calling for extension for the registration period and so on. Time is not on our side. And we are beginning the year 2018 with strict discipline. And strict discipline also means adherence to timelines. We hope that after the register has been finalized, we will then give the go-ahead for branch elections to begin throughout the country. And by 28th of March 2018, we expect all the branch executives in all the over 29,000 constituencies, polling stations to be completed.
The 37 Military Hospital has denied claims by a victim of the atomic gas explosion that the medical facility did not provide him quality medical care. The 31-year-old phone dealer, Abraham Tete, said he discharged himself from the hospital when he became convinced the health workers had stopped attending to him. But the commander of the hospital, Brigadier General Ijapong Yeboah, says the young man's claim was untrue and that the hospital, with the support of government and other donors, provided comprehensive and free medical care for all the victims. He also accused the runaway burn victim of stealing some phones and cash before leaving the ward. Abraham Tete has actually confessed to the crime.
I'm very sorry. In fact, I'm very, very sorry to see this. Very, very sorry. Sorry. At that point, I was not having anything. I wasn't having anything. I'm very sorry to say this. Before I escaped, there's these two guys whom I stole their money. Yeah. Because I knew if I come, I'll be buying some medicines and other things. So I took their money. Yeah. And there's this Nigerian guy who used to give me his phone. Sometimes you'll be there, you'll be listening to radio and things. I took that one, and also a phone that looks like iPhone, but it's not the iPhone. Okay, I took it. But after jumping the wall, one fell. Yeah, one of the phone fell inside the yard. Yes, and the remaining one, I took it away.
Meanwhile, the vice chairman of the LPG Marketers Association, Gabriel Kumi, says his outfit is committed to ensuring the victim fully recovers.
The association is prepared to ensure that we do our maximum best to ensure that the gentleman is fully recovered. Raymond, we've been doing a lot of things in the background since this happened. I mean, it's not everything that we put in the public domain, but we've been very supportive of some of these victims. We felt, take it or leave it. It was as a result of our activities that we had this explosion. Though we also agree that it's an accident. An accident do happen in any industry. But we feel that we needed to take steps to ensure that those who were directly affected at least receive some respite.
And already JoyNews is learning that a burned victim, with the help of the National Ambulance Service, has been readmitted at the 37 Military Hospital, where doctors are currently continuing with the treatment process. Well, the officer in charge of the Allied Surgery Ward, Lieutenant Francis Frimpong Otu, says the medical facility spends around 140 Ghana cedis daily on the victim.
Abraham Tete was not found on the ward 15th December around 04:30 hours. That was when the nurses were sharing the medications. It's time for medications. You can't resist the patient from moving around the corridors of the ward, you understand? So what he informed the nurses was that he wants to just go around the corridors of the ward, just walk about. And it's a form of exercise.
We understand that he's back to the facility, and I mean from 15th December when he left to 19th December that he came back. Tell us, I'm sure you've seen his condition right now. What's his condition?
Yes, I would say the condition is the worst, and that compelled him to come back because we are spending about 140 cedis a day on the dressing, buying Vaseline gauze, bandages, sterilized. It's not easy. So no other facility will be able to do this free unless 37. So I'm sure this is what compelled him to come back. He came to your end because he just want an excuse to come back. You understand? Because he himself, he was in difficulty. So coming to you is just something, an excuse to say something so that you people will bring him back. And since 19th, when he came, he was bathed, changed every dressing on him, and then new medications started over. So he's there.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant.
Welcome.
It has emerged Ghana is making multi-million-dollar contributions to the cultivation of onions in neighboring West African countries. Well, from Burkina Faso, Niger, and Nigeria, the product apparently has flooded the Ghanaian market. While improved production is necessary, Ghana's own ability to sustain production and also feed the entire population remains a doubt. Lava Firm's Kwesi Debra is exploring the work of an artist in relation to sub-regional cooperation.
My name is Farouk Arbo Jabri.
My name is Mohamed Ghazali.
And we have 4 types of onion. We have onion from Niger, we have onion from Burkina, and we have onion from Ghana, and we have onion from Agadas. In Niger, we have 2 types of onion. We have the Galami, and we have the Agadas. In Burkina, we have 1 type of onion, which is called the local name of that onion is called Kudugu. Everybody knows that we have Kudugu in Burkina, and we have our local onion here in Boku, and we have a local onion here in Kumasi, and the surrounding areas of the southern south.
The Nigerian onion is bigger in sizes as compared to our local one here, and the Nigerian onion is also sweeter.
A research conducted in 2010 and 2011 in 2 markets in Kumasi and Accra suggests $120 million worth of onions were imported into the country. That means Ghanaians prefer locally grown onions to the imported ones.
Like, seriously?
Hey, though the figure is yet to be updated, it's believed it could increase many times. The impact of this is tons of onions are transported by road daily along the West African corridors to markets in Accra and Kumasi. Abiba Mohammed sells onions in a longer market. She would only stock the imported ones.
They like the Niger ones. They say the Ghana one is hard on the eyes and time consuming.
It was reported in 2012 the country loses $5 million annually from onion imported from Niger alone. There are therefore calls for Ghana to have more plantations to step local production in order to save foreign exchange. Despite the problems, Jabril and Ghazali believes it's impossible to depend on our onions.
The southern type, we normally plant it around June, July. That's the rainy season in the southern in the southern area. We planted at that time, and by now it has finished. So we now left with the local ones. The local ones will start from December, January up to February. The local one also start. That's the season we also used to plant harvest the local one into the country.
An artist is therefore extending the argument by collecting Charlie from major markets in the country. Charlie is an interwoven basket used to cover the top of the sack containing farm produce before it is transported. Inspired by the design and labor of the designers of the Charlie, she believes Ghana and her neighbors should find ways of cushioning each other's economy.
So the idea of weaving goes beyond just the objects, then weaving of spaces, weaving of countries, transportation, thoughts, narratives, what actually strike them to do such an object. Bringing them to my space, metaphorically bring their presence because the object is present in my space.
That peaceful interdependence and coexistence will see to the sub-region's growth.
My name is Teresa Nkoma, and this installation is my work titled Crafting Craft Identities.
Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Deborah.